Hi YouTube! Okay, so, sorry. Today I'm going to be teaching beginner's Wicca lessons, pretty much. I've been doing Wicca and witchcraft and that stuff for about a year, maybe a year and a half now. And I think I can definitely teach a beginner's course. For anyone who's really not aware of what it is, it's pretty much a different religion. It's using the elements as well as the energy inside you to manipulate life and try to make it go your way and help you through it. For anyone who is interested, this is a beginner's course on pretty much how just to get started. I'm not going to show you anything very specific, just kind of how to get everything situated so you can practice right. So I have a very little container, my sewing kit on top, but my Wiccan stuff on the bottom. So this is a just simple setup where you have to have the light as well as the ocean just balancing each other out. It's best to use salt water for this, and I put it in a seashell because I find it easier to hold and it's more natural. I would take my natural ocean water and I'd put it in the seashell and that would stay there, as well as I'd light the candle, which I'll do now, like so. You don't need a lot of seawater, honestly, just enough to fill up the seashell if you're using a seashell. You can kind of use whatever you want, but this is what I use. This works for me. Now I have my little cauldron. This is pretty much where I do all my spells in. And I have whatever I would use, which I've been using my hands more, but I used to use my bell a lot more. And I use my wands for more potion, for mixing them to keep the energy in. As well as I have my herbs. These are a mix of sage and drawn herbs from a natural tree I have, which is a whole other story. Since it's getting closer to Halloween, I was thinking of doing a whole witchy theme this Halloween because I feel like I'm finally comfortable enough to share this side of me with the internet, and I would share my story on how I became a witch, how I've practiced Wicca, things I've done, and if you have any questions and or if you're interested in this, give this video a like so I know that you want me to do that. So this is a simple setup, as well as you would put the herbs in the pot, depending if you're making a spell or a potion, depends on what you would do. For potions, salt water is better to use for spraying because the salt stays longer after the water evaporates, keeping the spell around the area. But for drinking, salt water is not the best, so you would use fresh water. For natural herb spells, you can use any herbs that associate with the spell at hand, and or a mixture of your own. Although it's much more effective to use herbs that correlate with the spell, they are not mandatory in cases that you really need. In cases of emergencies, when you don't have all the equipment you need, but you still have to make a spell, you can use the will of yourself, as well as a spell that you come up with on hand. But, although not very effective, it could work if you try hard enough. Wiccan is all about will and about manipulation of the power you are already given. All people are given this energy and or aura, if some like to call it, that you can manipulate to help you with normal life. This should never be used for evil. If used for evil or for bad, consequences can happen. You should never try to manipulate another's brain or actions, as well as use common sense to not manipulate things that you know should not be touched, like the dead or anything that falls in that category. To me, as well as other witches, Wicca is not a joke. I take it very seriously, and I do it correctly to the best of my abilities, and I don't push boundaries. Never push boundaries. If you don't understand something, you should ask and or don't do. If you seriously think Wiccan is something that you're interested in, you can always comment and I will try my best to respond. So, okay, I think that's pretty much it. As well as, I grow my own sage. And if you don't know what sage is like it's my personal favorite herb. It wards off evil. When burned, it wards off evil. So I incorporate it in every spell I do. It pretty much clears the air of any bad auras or anything not supposed to be there. It's very protection. I think that's everything. So any more questions, comment me. Bye guys, bye YouTube.